I just know one thing, like Justin is a great guy. It's not even about winning a PR war. Honestly, it's about saving someone's life. I mean, imagine, Harvey, you being accused of something that you just didn't do. You just weren't part of, and you're caught up in this, and you're a real decent human being. And this is a powerful thing that you're going through, and your whole career seems to have been gone and vanished before your very eyes.
Blake Lively approached producers to have scenes removed for co-stars who were getting good reviews, according to Bryan Freedman's lawsuit. According to the documents, she used her influence to limit other people's screen time when they began, to gain popularity. For example, when that rising actress abruptly left that 2018 project with Blake threatened to walk unless certain scenes were reshot 3 times. Have you ever found it odd that her co-stars frequently diminish? Once you examine the proof, it becomes impossible to ignore the pattern in the backdrop, and I have it all right here.
Judging by this clip, you tell me, even Sony wasn't involved in this. Listen to this.
Brandon hasn't seen it, so we're gonna sit through it.
We just manifested that.
But and just know, it's literally, this is not a bit. It's literally not done. So to be honest, what really happened is we were like, we're gonna show the movie, and the studio was like, no, you're gonna show 20 minutes. So we're like, no, we're gonna show the movie. And they're like, it's not done. And I was like, they don't fucking care. Let's just show them the movie.
Because you're gonna go again, aren't you? You're gonna go watch it in theaters too.
I don't know. Don't you guys care that the movie be finished and that Justin's take be finished? Look at this. Colleen, Brandon, Blake. Where's Justin? Why was Justin not only she's not allowed to be in any of these interviews, but then she's out there stealing hard drives. That's what she did here to go spread the word on this movie.
Twice.
And they were like, it's true. They were like, if everything's not perfect and it's not done, and what if we're gonna change things? I was like, these are the people who authored the success of the book. You guys are what matter, and you guys seeing the movie is so important to us. So we're so excited to show you guys.
You brought us so many gifts.
Way to take over, Blake. Literally just took it from him. This movie, this book, you mean, that Justin found first, that Colleen told him to star in, that he oversaw with his production company for all this time, and you just took it over.
Today.
We did. I know. Also, last one, we're going out with a bang. But honestly, you guys, y'all are the only audience in the world that's going to see this cut. It is an early cut.
I'm so fascinated to know which cut this was. Was this Blake's cut? Was anybody in this crowd that saw this cut? Can you please reach out to me, hit me up, or Kim on socials, or you can reach out popcornplanet@gmail. Please don't spam me with other news links. I get plenty of those. But if you're an insider with info, you can hit me up, please. Who saw this cut?
And yeah, we're so excited. And busing 2,000 people to a movie theater sounds like a chaotic nightmare. So I just need you all to be excited and patient. This is
Okay, look, if they really bust them all over, Sony's in on this. Okay. There's a lot of theories that she stole this from Sony. No way Blake hired all these buses. She wouldn't even pay for her own wardrobe. So there's no way she paid for all these buses. So this must have been approved by Sony. So it makes me wonder which.
Huge honor. Blake had to fight for you guys to get to see this early, so we want it to go well.
I literally brought the movie with me on the airplane. I have a folder with a disc, a hard drive.
I love it. Yeah.
I literally stole this from the editors. Some of those editors got fired. But don't worry about that. I have it now. I'm in control. Isn't that lovely? Because you guys are more important than anybody else.
No, yeah. And the other thing is, I have the cutest jeans ever that I'm wearing tomorrow night. Also not sponsored. But they're really, really cute. And they've got flowers on them, and they're cut out. And then Colleen saw my jeans, and then she was inspired because she loves me. And she was telling them the whole time how she's Atlas is her favorite. So this is what you're coming into here. So if you're wondering why I'm talking about
Great.
But anyway, did you bring your flower jeans?
That was such a genuine. I really do think he's been stuck in his reaction of, Great. You can just tell he's so fed up with all this nonsense.
So she has these cute flower jeans, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna be jean influencers. So I was like, we should give everyone patches, because like when they see our cute jeans, they're gonna want cute jeans. So I bought patches on Amazon. Honestly, I haven't seen them. They could be really ugly. People are like, there's an event, there's people coordinating this. I was like, it's fine. I'm ordering it from Amazon. I sent it to Colleen's hotel room. So we have like cute flower patches, no pressure. But like, if you guys want to have
Ruin your jeans and put on a flower patch. Florals up for the DV movie. Oh my God. This woman is insufferable. What she will go to promote this
like
movie.
cute patches to put on your jeans so that we can like, Brandon has them for his Wranglers. I want to iron them on Brandon's pants, but he always has the cutest like vintage Wranglers and Levi's. I don't think he'll.
Yeah, way to guilt trip him. You better put them on your Wranglers, your expensive jeans, Brandon, or you're not a supporter, and you won't get that Wolverine gig that Hugh Jackman, Ryan, and I keep threatening to.
Remember, When It Ends With Us began as a fantasy collaboration between Blake Lively and Justin Baldwin and was slated to be the year's romantic drama. Qui actually fell into the most toxic on-set nightmare in Hollywood, but what really happened? Behind the scenes that no one is discussing is that Justin Boney seemed to have it all. He directed and starred in the adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, and early test screenings revealed that audiences connected with his portrayal of Rial Concaide. According to insiders close to the production, Blake's jealousy machine went into overdrive when he saw that Justin was getting positive reactions, particularly from female viewers who found his portrayal compelling and sympathetic. You may be wondering how someone like Blake could ruin a whole movie, but the answer is found in the explosive documents recently filed by entertainment lawyer Bryan Freedman. These documents disclose a planned effort that got underway very immediately following the initial test screenings. Sources confirm that Blake specifically claimed Justin was difficult to work with, a classic Hollywood career killer accusation that has ruined many promising careers. Blake allegedly approached producers with a shocking ultimatum: either reshoot scenes where Justin connected too strongly with the audience or walk away from the project. Can you imagine the audacity? Based on Freedman's document, 3 different crew members have come forward with identical accounts of Blake's behind-the-scenes interactions. Blake positioned herself as the unofficial intimacy coordinator for romantic scenes between their characters, controlling everything from camera angles and timing to physical contact. In a stunning act of manipulation, she later accused Justin of improvising and kissing too much during these very scenes she had orchestrated. When audiences didn't perceive Riley as a full-fledged villain, they saw her continuously approaching editors and requesting Justin's most dramatic dialogue. But she couldn't handle it if his character seemed too sympathetic. According to one source, she intended for him to be one-dimensional, but her persona received all the most unsettling nuance. The revelation. Just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, Blake allegedly fostered what staff members referred to as a girls versus boys environment on set, inviting female cast members to exclusive dinners and social gatherings while Justin found himself more and more alone. Text messages included in the lawsuit show Blake urging female co-stars to avoid interacting with Justin, claiming he was difficult and had boundary issues without giving any specific examples. The documents of Freedman reveal Blake's direct correspondence with media outlets in the entertainment industry. Blake allegedly offered reporters private interviews in exchange for hit articles that focused on Justin's domineering directing style, and the lawsuit includes emails in which she personally pushed unfavorable stories about Justin's unprofessional behavior. Several entertainment journalists have privately acknowledged receiving these messages, but they were hesitant to run stories based only on her statements. The most damaging evidence consists of text messages exchanged between Blake and the film's producers, in which Blake expressly requests that he be given limited opportunities on the promotional tour and minimal screen time in the final cut. I must ensure that I am at the forefront of all marketing efforts. Keep Jay's interviews distinct and centered solely on directing rather than his acting, according to one message. When Bryan Freedman showed these documents in court, industry insiders who had been watching Blake's behavior for years but were afraid to speak up found their suspicions confirmed. Another text specifically asked Justin to be barred from key international promotional events. The evidence clearly showed that an actress was willing to ruin not just a co-star's performance, but a whole movie's success just to keep the spotlight.
It's not even about winning a PR war. Honestly, it's about saving someone's life. I mean, imagine, Harvey, imagine you being accused of something that you just didn't do. You just weren't part of, and you're caught up in this, and you're a real decent human being. And this is a powerful thing that you're going through, and your whole career seems to have been gone and vanished before your very eyes. I think what hasn't been settled is the fact that they've lost 4 projects, significant projects, the studio. There's obviously the reputational and emotional distress harm. He's got 2 little kids that pay attention to what goes on in the world. His wife is devastated, and there's others involved in this too that have lost significant business and personal relationships.
Although Blake's dispute with Justin Belden has received most of the attention, the lawsuit reveals much more. Since Sinister had established her reputation through sisterhood photo sessions and girl power hashtags, it turns out that Blake's campaign against Justin wasn't her first experience in the sabotage department. Remember those promising actresses who mysteriously vanished from marketing materials? Their disappearances weren't random. They were planned eliminations. You've seen Blake's Instagram post praising her female co-stars, complete with matching friendship bracelets and tearful interviews about supporting one another, but Bryan Freedman's lawsuit paints an entirely different picture. Based on the legal documents following positive audience feedback and test screenings, at least 7 female actors who collaborated with Blake had their scenes drastically edited or eliminated. When you see the pattern in action, it's shocking. For example, Blake co-starred with them in the 2018 thriller Emerging Star. Both women were heavily featured in Emma Larson's early marketing, but by the time the film came out, you hardly noticed Emma. One of Freedman's examples is a scathing email that Blake sent to producers. Emma is receiving far too much attention during the exam screening in Dallas. Her performance was frequently mentioned in the feedback forms. Could we concentrate more on my character's journey in the upcoming cut? A former assistant director who collaborated with Blake on 2 projects explains that she would be your best friend on set, bringing you coffee and inviting you to dinner with her and Ryan. However, you would later find out that she was in the editing room battling to have your best scenes cut. This is especially unsettling. The cosmetics artists who have testified present a particularly unflattering image. In one specific case, Blake allegedly made remarks about a 24-year-old co-star's appearance while she was getting makeup done at a 2020 production. She looked too young compared to me. Another makeup artist testified that Blake insisted they use a slightly different shade of foundation for a specific actress to make her complexion look sickly on camera. Perhaps most shockingly, Blake used her relationship with husband Ryan Reynolds as leverage. Blake reportedly said, "Can we age her up a bit? Maybe some under-eye circles or something." Although it was never overt extortion, 3 different producers acknowledged getting variants of the same threat. If Blake's issues weren't handled, Ryan would suddenly lose his availability for his next projects with the same studio. One producer said this anonymously, but the message was quite apparent. Maintain Blake's satisfaction or risk losing access to one of Hollywood's most lucrative celebrities. One instance from 2021 that stands out in the case files is when a supporting actress started getting media notice for her role in early screenings. When the actress attempted to negotiate, Blake allegedly insisted on reshoot scheduling, which prevented her from being available and resulted in a drastically reduced role. The documents describe Blake's methodical approach, which included first identifying which actresses were receiving positive attention, then publicly befriending them while privately undermining their confidence with backhanded compliments, then isolating them and subtly turning other cast members against them by suggesting they were difficult, and finally using her production influence to reduce their screen time while maintaining her public image. Blake reportedly told executives she couldn't possibly work with someone so unprofessional who couldn't commit to the production schedule. A former costume designer who worked on 2 of Blake's projects described the toxic environment she created. By complimenting another actress's outfit and then privately telling me to make sure that actress's next costume wasn't as flattering. She would suggest colors that didn't match their skin tone or styles that didn't highlight their figure, all the while making sure her looks were expertly tailored. Persona as a champion for women in Hollywood. The testimony of a junior producer, who saw Blake's outburst when Forbes magazine featured her younger co-star in an article about rising stars to watch, is perhaps the most illuminating. The producer claimed that Blake called her agent and yelled that no one was stealing her thunder, and demanded that they contact the publication to issue a correction that emphasized her own role as the lead. The documents document dozens of similar incidents across multiple productions over almost 10 years. What arises is a planned approach intended to crush competition and keep Blake at the center of attention at all costs, not just a few individual instances of professional envy.
We have alleged in our complaint that this was a takeover of a movie, and whether we find out exactly what the reasons for the takeover were and who was behind the takeover, I think that we're going to find some interesting documents when Discovery starts. And I'm looking forward to Discovery, because when you start to look into what was in Stephanie Jones's hands and what was in Leslie Sloan's hands and what was in Blake Lively's text messages, and what those discussions were like, I think we're going to find the answers to this really quickly.
It all comes in this document that we did talk about. I think this came out yesterday during the live, which if you missed yesterday's live with Zach, we had a wonderful time with Zach Peter. Hope to get him back. But I want to go through some of this because there's so much nonsense in this doc. And as Deadline here does sort of break down very well, it's just so much back and forth where ultimately they're just trying to agree on protective orders, which there should be some sort of protective order. No one's denying that, but no one wants to give. And honestly, Blake's asking for too much, in my opinion. She wants all celebrity correspondence to be private. It's called AEO, which is attorney's eyes only. All sort of private mentions from celebrities, etc., should be only for the attorneys. It's like, girl, no. You published his text messages. Can we just hold on, Blake? You published his text messages in a complaint that wasn't even a lawsuit, and then gave it to the New York Times before you filed it officially. You're a despicable and a massive hypocrite. And so now you're complaining about privacy? Oh, this is such an important private matter. You were on Saturday Night Live letting your husband make a mockery of your whole thing. Oh, is there something that's going on? Yeah, there's something going on. And you shouldn't have been there cracking jokes about it. I'm sure they could have seen you at the other studio and you could have enjoyed the night without being on television. But you guys couldn't help yourself. So you want to have all the abilities to go online, defend yourself, publicly mock, do whatever you want. But when you want it to be private, you should just get to decide that it's not how it works. And I imagine the judge is going to start getting frustrated because no one's agreeing to any side of anything. They just refuse to meet in the middle. And so there's a few parts in this document that I think are really important to talk about, including, yes, calling out content creators, but trying to there's a lot of legal speak, etc. Leaving aside the callous disregard and disrespect for a woman, advocating for the most basic workplace protections against SH. Debatable, Blake. The Wayfair Party's position that a woman who speaks up against SH has somehow waived any and all privacy interests shows the futility of future conferral. Wow, no, it doesn't. It's incredibly important that all this go up because you published a lot of this publicly. This is beyond just the complaint. You published it to the New York Times and you defamed him and disparaged him, and he disagrees with you. I don't agree that all SH claims moving forward should be put in a silent, quiet chamber where we must believe the woman.
You may be wondering how Blake Lively has managed to keep all of these victims secret for so long after a 10-year career of destroying others. The explanation is shocking based on Freedman's documentation. In addition to ruining careers, Blake has set up a sophisticated silencing campaign that has made Hollywood's most abused stars too afraid to speak up. According to the lawsuit, Blake has put together a strong network of allies in the entertainment world who support her in upholding her impeccable public image. At the heart of this system is a startlingly aggressive approach to non-disclosure agreements. These are not just casual friends. They are strategically placed people in studios, talent agencies, and media outlets who collaborate to keep Blake's America's sweetheart facade intact while burying any negative stories about her behavior. 3 former personal assistants have testified under oath about the extremely strict confidentiality agreements they were made to sign. These weren't your typical NDAs. Instead, they included incredibly harsh financial penalties and lifelong gag orders, personal views that go beyond professional issues. The agreement specifically forbade bringing up Blake's treatment of others, according to a former assistant who called it signing my voice away forever. One legal expert included in the Freedman documents said, "The NDAs Blake makes people sign are unlike anything I've seen in 22 years of entertainment law, even years after employment ended. The most unsettling aspect of their design is probably what insiders call Blake's insurance policy, which goes far beyond paperwork and includes complete quiet and intimidation, in addition to confidentiality. She told me directly that she keeps receipts on everyone." The former team member testified under oath that if you've spent time in Blake's orbit, she has something she can use against you if necessary. The lawsuit also includes testimony from a former member of Blake's entourage who confirmed the existence of this dirt file containing compromising photos, recorded conversations, and personal details of industry professionals who've worked with her. According to reports, Blake's staff keeps an eye on former coworkers' social media accounts with concern. Accuracy. In one case, a makeup artist who merely posted that some blondes aren't as sweet as they seem received a threatening legal letter. Within hours, the documents include 5 different cases where industry professionals received cease and desist letters after making ambiguous references to difficult onset experiences without ever mentioning Blake by name. Blake's use of her family image as a shield against criticism is especially well thought out. In response to a co-star's worries on her onset, Blake instructed her staff to make this about my family being attacked in other instances in the lawsuit when valid professional issues were reframed as attacks on her children or marriage. According to a producer cited in the documents, she is quite skilled at changing the story. You are being portrayed as someone who is attempting to harm her children while at the same time bringing up a valid work.
According to Bryan Freedman's lawsuit, Blake Lively has contacted producers to get scenes cut for co-stars who were receiving positive audience reactions. The documents reveal at least 7 instances where she used her power to minimize others' screen time when they started gaining popularity. Remember when that rising actress suddenly disappeared from that 2018 project with Blake? The papers show Blake made 3 calls threatening to walk unless certain scenes were reshot. Has it ever seemed strange to you how her co-stars often fade into the background? The pattern is impossible to ignore once you see the evidence. And I've got it all right here. Remember when It Ends With Us was supposed to be the romantic drama of the year? What started as a dream collaboration between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni quickly descended into Hollywood's most toxic on-set nightmare. But what really happened behind the scenes that nobody's talking about? Justin Baldoni seemed to have it all, directing and starring in the adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel. Early test screenings showed audiences connecting with his performance as Ryle Kincaid. That's when Blake's jealousy machine kicked into high gear. According to insiders close to the production, Blake couldn't stand that Justin was receiving positive reactions, especially from female viewers who found his portrayal sympathetic and compelling. You might be wondering how someone like Blake could sabotage an entire film production.
End your current job.
You know, he's a really decent human being and a decent person, and has really been very fair and not wanting to attack anyone. But he is, he's devastated as anyone would be. He's, and the studio has lost hundreds of millions of dollars. And as we've put forth in the complaint, there are significant damages that he suffered, and the emotional distress, having represented a number of people who have been involved in these situations, the emotional distress that people go through, and how difficult it is to walk through an airport, to walk through, your daily life, to be with your children, to try to, be a normal father or husband, and any of it, with all of this weighing on you is just tremendously taxing. And he's going through it, like they all go through it. And, we're just, he's going to keep his head held high and tell the truth and be honest and be honorable. And and we know that will serve.
Well, the answer lies in the explosive documents recently filed by entertainment attorney Bryan Freedman. These papers reveal a calculated campaign that began almost immediately after the first test screenings. Blake allegedly approached producers with a shocking ultimatum: reshoot scenes where Justin connected too strongly with the audience or face her walking from the project. Can you imagine the audacity? Sources confirm she specifically claimed Justin was difficult to work with, a classic Hollywood career killer accusation that has tanked many promising careers. But here's where it gets really messy. According to Freedman's filing, Blake positioned herself as the unofficial intimacy coordinator for romantic scenes between their characters. She dictated camera angles, timing, and physical contact, essentially controlling every aspect of these emotional moments. Then, in a stunning act of manipulation, she later accused Justin